and welcome back to Of the People. I'm Robert Chernin with my lovely co-host.
I'm Ericka Redic.
You are. Ericka, before, because I was chided on break that I didn't put in these promos, where can they get us? And please get, I'm never good at that. I mean, everyone's good at something, and we're not good at other things. I'm not good at that. So help me. Help them.
Well, we're on the radio every Thursday at 9 a.m. in New Hampshire. You can also find us on pretty much every single podcast platform. You can find us on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram. We're on all the socials. It's Of the People with Robert Chernin. And when you listen, make sure you leave us a review, hit the Rumble button, share with your friends, whatever platform you're on, share, comment, because the more you engage with us, the better able our message is to spread. And y'all, we need these messages to spread, because so many people out there are just, they don't know what's going on. They don't hear this messaging. And the algorithm is against us. So we need you to participate. We need your help to get the word out. And don't be shy. Leave us a review. Leave us a message. Leave us a comment. You can find Robert on Twitter. Robert, it's Robert Chernin on Twitter. Is that right? Where did Robert go? Oh, we're having some technical difficulties and Robert has left the feed. But I'm here, Ericka Redic. You can find me on Twitter at Ericka Redic, ERICKA REDIC. I'm on Generally Irritable on all the other socials. But you got Robert on Twitter. What is your Twitter handle on
I'm not telling
Robert?
you. Just kidding. At RB Chernin, at RBCHERNIN. So.
And then Of the People with Robert Chernin on all of the socials, all of the podcast platforms. Apple is being dumb, but you can find us on literally
everything but
every
Apple.
other
And I'm about to make
platform.
Apple an offer they can't refuse, although I guess I'll have to go out to Seattle to do that. But we'll see.
Oh, is it going to involve one of your swords?
I want to see if I can get that on the plane. That'd be interesting, don't you think?
Ooh.
I remember one of my instructors who, way before 9/11, tried to walk on a plane, and he had a few things with him, and he had a really gorgeous sword, and they wouldn't let him bring it on. I mean, it was cased, it was locked, whatever. And they said to him, and I'll remember this, he said, you can't bring that on the plane. It's a weapon. He looks at them like this, and he goes, I'm a weapon, and you're letting me on the plane. So, and
I want to be able to say that.
I tried it once with a TSA guy. It didn't work really well. So I would tell you.
He didn't think it was funny.
Did not think it was funny, but that's okay. So, New segment today. Last segment, we're going to do.
They're not paid to have a sense of humor, I suppose.
No.
They are not paid to have a sense of humor. I think one of the things that has been the most annoying thing that has come out of the modern age, it is the TSA. Who is with me on this? How many times have we heard about, I think, when they've gotten tested or when they have, the Secret Service people go through, they have failed 100% of the time. The TSA is an absolute waste of time, waste of money. And if they fail 100% if I failed anything I did 100% of the time, I wouldn't still have a business. I wouldn't still have anything. And yet they are able to continue going. So
I saw a TSA pull a postpartum woman out of line and made her open the breast milk containers of the milk, and she's carrying a baby too. Let me guess, the baby was a prop. Maybe they rented the baby. at the corner somewhere, or maybe there's like a baby for sale, when you're entering the airport that you can just borrow one to get through TSA. Look, TSA in theory, look, we all understand post 9/11 why it was important because, obviously our security was so lax. But you know what? I like the Israeli system. If you've never been to Tel Aviv airport, right, to Tel Aviv or to Israel,
Yeah.
it's human interaction. And by the way, they do racial profile. And that's okay because they talk to you, they look you in the eyes. And obviously, terrorists, can come in all sizes and shapes. But generally speaking, they fit a certain profile. So they'll talk to you. We were in Israel and we were leaving. And, if you've never had Majul dates out of Israel, in the Middle East. So we bought a bunch of boxes and we put them in our luggage. They pulled us out. And they wanted to look at the dates, and I was fine. I said, "Why did you want to do that?" He said, "Because that's where that's where terrorists keep bombs."
What?
Yeah, I mean,
Fascinating.
it's no
Dates.
different than people who are trying to smuggle in drugs, put it in coffee grinds, right? Because it hides the smell from the dogs and stuff. I mean, there's some smart stuff going on. My point is that I applaud the men and women of TSA who try to do the right thing, but there's some morons. I mean, they pulled me aside once the other day, and I mean, these were two children who, they pull. I have this whole bag of like wires and cables and stuff, and they pull out the clips and they pull out everything just to look at it. I had a pair of, I have a small goatee. I have a pair of scissors that's like this big, right? So they pull out the scissors, and I'm like, fine, okay. I mean, I'm stupid, but whatever. They miss. I mean, I shouldn't say this, but I do have a knife. It's hidden in there. You can't figure it out. They pulled the thing out. They looked at the knife, which was covered in something else, and they went, oh, okay, and they just put it back. I went, all right.
Oh my God.
So
Oh my
you're
God.
like, you just sit there and you go,
Oh my God.
if I can slip that aboard, what are other people slipping aboard? I mean, the ones I don't understand are the morons that just keep, a firearm in their luggage as it's going through the X-ray machine. What did you think they were going to find? A lollipop? Anyways.
right.
So new section today, new segment, I have to be corrected, called Around the Horn of News.
Oh.
And we'll get a better name for it. But what I really want to do, because we go through all these news articles, but some of this, I just want to, this is like a Rorschach test, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I just want to give you I'm going to give you a heading of an article. I'm not even going into it. I'm not reading anything. I'm just going to give you an article, and I want your reaction to it.
Immediate reaction. Okay.
I want
Don't think it. Just
right.
spout something out. Okay.
Right. California library ejects a forum on female sports over misgendering. Come on. I want your
It's
stop
on
thinking.
female sports.
Right.
What do you? What?
Wait a minute. This isn't working really well. If you're no stuttering allowed. I want your reactions to this.
Well, I'm confused. How do you? It's.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't.
The event was shut
understand.
down. The organized look, they moved to a public park next door, but basically the library staff in Davis, California, kicked out this forum because it's a fair and safe space for girls. Right? It was hosted by local parents because they were misgendering. So it's now gotten to the point that if you call someone a girl in California, this is Davis, UC Davis area, right? So now you can't even call them a girl. I don't know what you have to call them. Do you call them like
vagina havers or
or I
No,
was
you
gonna say
can't
carriers
say
of
that.
babies, but
because no, you can't say that either because of transgender people that are. So what is it? So no,
I don't know. Excuse me.
So,
You have the answers. I don't have the answers. I just have the questions. Okay?
I don't know.
Wait, so I got another one. New Jersey judge blocks 3 school districts from notifying parents if their child changes their gender identity. That's sort of like Washington, don't you think?
Yeah.
Why doesn't this stuff happen in red states?
Because red states aren't run by crazy people.
But they don't think they're crazy. That's the problem.
And that's the problem. Nobody who's crazy thinks they're crazy. That's why it's perfectly normal for them to run around taking their clothes off, doing wild stuff, trying to set people's houses on fire. They think it's a good idea because they're crazy. Crazy can't identify crazy. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. New York Attorney General Letitia James threatens the schools that ban classroom materials on the pretext, quote unquote, of obscenity and lewdness. So do you understand that they're now taking all the same arguments from the 60s and they're going like this with it? They're going and they're flipping them around. I mean, it's just, I mean,
Wait,
what's
but
appropriate for a child?
How can they take away things that for obscenity and lewdness when they are literally fighting for books with obscenities and lewdness?
Well, but it's whose obscenity and lewdness. Their obscenity and lewdness is okay. Our definition of obscenity and lewdness is not okay, and that's the problem, right?
Well, but
so
that's
you got to remember,
if you're allowing books that have pictures of oral sex, what are you then gonna disapprove of?
look. The inmates clearly run the asylum. I mean, what did Benjamin Franklin say? We tend to get the type of representative government we deserve. It's a really sad statement these days. So basically, what's her name? Letitia
James.
James, yeah, her. So it's all under DEI. So certain parents in certain schools want to control, not control is the wrong word. I guess they want to have an input into the materials that their children are taught. Again, we go back to you can't have any input if they want to transition from a guy to a girl and all that other stuff. And by the way, my own thought, if you're going to transition from a man to a woman, then you should fully transition so you can't come back. That's my attitude.
Yeah.
Just lop
Commit.
it off. Make a commitment.
If you're not going to commit, then get out.
Right. And I mean, so maybe the real issue in society is there's a fear of commitment. All you men out there, right? So you can't commit to a relationship with a woman. And obviously you can't commit to a relationship to become a woman. So I think the common denominator is fear of commitment, don't you think?
I think so. I mean, going back to the last segment, when you can just change your gender depending on how you feel or your location or whatever.
I used to think I knew what was going on, but I have no idea at this point.
Stop it. Cut it out.
So by the way, if you look at the different newspapers, because I have them up, so, you look at Breitbart, which is clearly a right-wing reactionary, Cro-Magnon, publication, they have the normal stuff, right?
Yeah.
That Joe dozes off during the victim ceremony in Maui, which how pathetic is that? They have rich man north of Richmond makes historic #1 debut on the Billboard Hot 100 charts.
Wow.
You go, folks, right?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And then you go to CNN, and the first headline on CNN is the ex-Department of Justice official wants judge to block his arrest, right? Because this is in the Georgia thing. And the Ukraine claims an attack on the base housing Russian by supersonic bombers overnight. And then they go through all this other crap where you would think nothing else is going on in the world. I mean, It's amazing we cherry pick our news at this point.
Yeah. You can tell what matters sometimes by what's not being covered. So we would rather cover some absolute nonsense than legitimate problems that are going on. We're going to focus on things that don't matter or
that distract you.
Yeah, exactly.
So wait, I got another headline for you. Biden's vacation under investigation after POTUS rents $18 million home from a billionaire. What's your reaction? Come on.
That dude's been on vacation 40% of his presidency. Who's surprised?
Wait. I'd be okay if he was on vacation 100% of his presidency. What's wrong with that? The more is better. Joe, take a vacation.
When are they gonna? What is it? The 24th Amendment, where you can call out, 25th Amendment, dude, get rid of this guy. He can't even hold a sentence anymore. How is he gonna run for president again? It's not gonna happen. He's not gonna be the nominee. Everybody needs to just get over it. Do not donate to his campaign. Let that poor bastard retire with what little dignity he has left.
What little dignity and all the money.
I mean, he should definitely get arrested for
He's not going to get
crimes.
arrested. Come on. Be real. So he's not going to get arrested. So, all right, I have to ask you. this whole Trump indictment, because Thursday is going to turn himself in Georgia. I mean, we have to go there, right? What do you think about all that?
I
Give me the
think
short answer. I want the short answer.
I'm tired of talking about Trump. Just to be honest.
Really?
I'm tired of talking about it. I want to talk about the stuff that matters in this country, and we're at war.
You want to talk about? You want to talk about me?
I would rather talk about your bald head than Donald Trump. We absolutely need to do something about what is wrong with our judicial system, right? This goes back to what at the last segment. The judicial system is absolutely weaponized and is absolutely corrupted, and it is an absolute problem that we need to address. But we have other problems that are not being talked about and are being overshadowed, and I think it's a major disservice to this country.
So, because I'm older than you and respect your elders, but I want you to go back and look at the presidency of Richard Nixon. Because the prism that people see Nixon through, and I'm not defending, the Trump people. Look, I liked him as a president. I will have him as a president again. There's not a single policy that he put into force that I didn't think was terrific, right? Obviously, though, the Democrat strategy is to have Trump be the nominee and have him be so shackled, perhaps literally, with four indictments, federal offenses that won't actually reach a verdict until after the election, that he's handicapped, and again, folks, Joe Biden will not be the Democratic nominee. Gavin Newsom will be the Democratic nominee. There's some talk of Michelle Obama, but I would bet you 100-1 against it for a variety of reasons. No chance. So go back and look at Richard Nixon, and go back and look at what he was fighting against the same things in miniature, right?
Yeah.
And really, there's now been a trove of documents unearthed that really it was the deep state that came after Nixon, right?
Yep.
This whole thing about Deep Throat, who was feeding information to Woodward and Bernstein, was part of the deep state. So because again, Nixon was trying to take on the deep state and the administrative state. So it's the same thing. You look at Trump and the amount of incoming fire. Look, he's a controversial figure, but I was proud to have him as president. I'll be proud to have him as president again. I understand why the fatigue. Look, I had Clinton fatigue after 8 years of Bill Clinton and all these, nonsense fundraisers. But so how do you get beyond it? So who wins the primary? Was that a trick? That was not a trick question.
Oh, I don't know.
Remember, this is a Rorschach test.
Here's the deal. I would be happy to have President Trump as the nominee, as long as he can articulate a vision for America that is unifying and addresses the legitimate problems. I want to see the administrative state actually dismantled. I want to see the swamp drained. I want to hear his vision for America. And I think that what's happening, unfortunately, is instead of talking about Joe Biden and the failures of Joe Biden, he's focusing on himself and how he's being wronged. And I just think it's the wrong messaging to win the middle of America, independence. He needs to do a better job of articulating why we should be voting for him other than his grievances, although they are bad. He needs to be focused on Biden and why Biden sucks and why the Democrats suck. So he just needs to change his messaging.
I'll give you one number and then 2 words. 7% and the economy. Mortgage rates have now hit 7% on average. Some are higher in this country.
Yeah.
It's the highest mortgage rates in 20 years. The housing industry is going to tank, and so will those other 2 words, the economy, because James Carville was right. It's the economy, stupid.
Yep.
And at some point, I would love to, with you or someone else, have what I call the great entitlement debate, because on fiscal irresponsibility, 2/3 of the federal budget goes toward Medicare and Medicaid.
Yep.
And obviously Social Security. So we're only farting around with the other third of it anyway. But I think, going back to the Trump thing. Trump needs to focus on the economy. There's a metric out there, and I don't have it up, about compare, are you better off 4 years, with Trump than you were with Biden? Look at the price of gas, look at the interest rates, look at the cost of living increase, look at your wallet and pocketbooks and your 401k, folks. Who you happier with. Not that money or not that money or the economy is all that matters, but people generally vote their pocketbooks.
Yeah.
So,
that's
you know
right.
what? This went really quick. Lord Benjamin is giving us, we got to go. So, Ericka, do me a favor. Do the close today, please.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow us wherever you are listening. And most importantly, y'all, get out there, get involved, stay informed. So we are Of the People with Robert Chernin and myself, Ericka Redic. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, folks. See you next week.